Rios held serve at the first game, had 2 break points in the second game, didn't break. Costa did break, up 2-1. Rios broke back 2-all. Rios held 3-2. He had a break point for 4-2, but Costa held for 3-all. He's won the last 3 games. Rios serving to stay in the opening set. Well, for a lot of people think this could be the match that decides the destiny of the men's title. It's certainly been pretty close to start with.
Yes, it has. It's certainly a match between 2 players in terrific clay court form, and I think the respect that they have for each other's game has been very evident, really, in the tremendous competitiveness of the match. Thus, I think Rios's little outburst, it was little. And in many ways one could sympathize with him, because I think what happened was Costa served and Rios returned the ball almost instinctively, and then having returned it, he then looked at the mark, found it out, and the umpire was saying, well, you played on, as it were, and therefore I'm not going to change my original call. So the fact is the ball was out. It should have been a fault, but Rios didn't get it because he played a return of serve.
35.
Third double fault for Rios, and that's most unusual because what did he serve in the Italian Open? 4 in the entire tournament.
Yes, it's been a feature of his game this year. Very much higher serve percentage, a lot more service games won, points won behind first serve, fewer doubles, better all-round player.
Really shouldn't have got away with that.
Yes, just pushing that Costa was there, but there's been a feature of the match so far. The Costa's backhand, which is normally a wonderful shot, particularly down the line, not been functioning quite as well, and yet he's been playing well otherwise. But I just feel if that shot begins to strike form, Rios is going to have a real battle on his hands, but without it, Rios has opportunities.
Yeah, there's an example. Because he's not hitting the backhand down the line as well as you would like, he's having to compromise, not go for the line.
Yes, and not going flat out. So what it means is the shorter Rios with the restricted reach on that two-handed side is not being shown up.
Rios holds, but it'll be Costa to serve for the opening set at 5-4.
Once upon a time, there was a printer that thought it was a copier. It was fast, 32 pages a minute. This printer collated, sorted...
Welcome back. Live coverage now, through for the next 2.5 hours. And we've got, if this match is over in that time, and that's a big if, we've got a cracking ladies match to follow it. Kornikova against Novotná. Winner of this match will play Carlos Moya, who beat Jens Knipschild of Germany in 4 sets. Felix Mantilla will play Thomas Muster in the quarterfinals. Mantilla straight sets over Ramon Delgado. Muster 5 sets over Fernando Meligjani. And in the unfinished match from last night, in which, when it was called off for rain last night, and Gumi led Alex Corretja by 2-1. Corretja eventually won 9-7 in the 5th. The total playing time, a mere 5.5 hours. Oh, what a shot to end a magnificent point.
Well, they really are hitting the cover off the ball. But again, quite obvious Costa's reluctance to go down the line. And although that was a fine cross-court shot, Rios just perhaps not sensing that as he made his approach. Wonderful movement, though, by the two of them. A real vital match.
45.
2 set points for Costa. Rios has won 2 of their 3 previous matches, but it's 1-1 on clay.
Première manche. Costa 6-4.
2 breaks to 1 to Costa, gives him the opening set. "44 minutes.
Well, it's pretty unusual territory, and thus you can see Rios unfamiliarly losing the first set of a match. He's been in such terrific form. Did lose a set to Brett Steven, but that was after 2 sets to love.
Just to complete the roundup of results from earlier in the day, Martina Hingis beat Anna Smashnova 6-1, 6-2, and will play Venus Williams, who beat Henrietta Nagyova 6-1, 6-3. Those are all the singles results today. Yes, Marcelo Ríos has only lost 4 matches all year, but now in danger of falling a set and a break behind.
Yes, and a slightly slack approach there, it was preceded really by a pretty sloppy drop volley too. Ríos obviously down, and a good time for Costa to be striking back at him again.
.40.
3 break points for Costa.
Terrific pace, and the ball just sliding through the line, making it difficult for Costa. Well, you can see the wear and tear on Rios's face, and this is one of the reasons. It's really been terrifically high quality. The only lapses, I suppose, have been the occasional attempted drop shots by Costa that haven't worked.
40.
Third ace from Ríos. And he comes back from the left 40. No.
Avantage Costa.
Yes, it wasn't even close, and perhaps one can understand Rios trying to play it deep because of that missed backhand volley earlier on. So figuring, well, this time I'm just going to raise my sights. And of course he raised them too much.
Égalité. Avantage Rios.
In the occasional bit of serve volleying from Rios, very occasional, but none really so far from Costa.
Égalité.
Having to resort to the one-handed stretch. This perhaps is just making a little bit of the difference at the moment.
This is the fifth game out of 11 to go to deuce, which gives you some idea of the competitiveness. Has he broken a string? No. Made such a strange sound. It was almost like a double hit, that serve.
It was well mishit, as it were. Well, because it went in, but it certainly was mishit. No problems with the smash.
Égalité.
This being a fourth deuce makes this the longest game of the match so far.
Avantage Rios. Premier service. Égalité.
Well, a bit of bad luck. He was getting the angle he was looking for. Well, the Bois de Boulogne behind, and Rios has been doing a lot more of this, and really started with his match against Rosetsky in Indian Wells, where he had to keep Rosetsky from the net.
Fourth ace and a big, big game for Rios. He saves 4 break points to win the opening game of the second set. Welcome back. Centre court, Roland Garros, day 7 of the 1988 French Open. And the most eagerly awaited clash so far in the men's singles. Marcelo Ríos has asked for Bill Norris, the trainer, to be sent for, and Bill's just arrived in the corner of the court.
15-0.
Of course, Ríos with the elbow problems that affected him after he became #1 in the world in March. Whether that's the problem again today, we shall find out shortly.
30-0. Prenez place, monsieur, s'il vous plaît.
Yes, and of course it wasn't the fact that he was #1 that caused him to get the elbow, as the players say. It was meant to be a longer racket that Rios is using this year. He's certainly been playing pretty magnificently with it. And of course the story behind Costa's transformation stems from a match against Andre Medvedev in Hamburg. He was down and out, injured, and suddenly played like a wounded lion, fought magnificently, won the match, and has not looked back since, other than his mishap in Rome.
Yes, what happened to him in Rome in the last game of winning his semi-final, he injured his right wrist and couldn't play the final, which should have been against Rios. But starting with that match in Hamburg, which was the first round against the defending champion Medvedev, he was 4-1 and 2 breaks down in the final set. Since then he hasn't lost a match. Went on to win the tournament in Hamburg, reached the final in Rome but couldn't play it.
Un jeu partout.
And I remember we were saying at the time this could just be the making of Costa, because we've always believed in him, and yet he hasn't quite delivered since reaching the quarters here the year Muster won. Lost a close match to Muster, a match in fact he might well have won.
Yep. Have you negotiated our 10% yet? I think we deserve it.
Yes, because what he'd always done was played superbly, had the technique, no real weaknesses, but he hadn't really had the power to win points. But against Medvedev, because he was a little injured, he just suddenly felt that he had to hit harder, discovered that it all worked, and has played like that ever since.
Quinze.
Oh, yes, sirree.
Well, that's astonishing class. It really shows what can be made of clay court tennis, how good it can be.
Once again, Rios finds himself break point down. The point, of course, about this clay court tennis with these two men is that although they're predominantly baseliners, they do venture forward. They're not stuck on the baseline like glue. Costa does break this time. Things looking good for the Spaniard. A set up and 2-1 up. And here comes Bill Norris. Tough to breathe, says Rios. And what Bill Norris gave Marcelo Ríos was basically smelling salts. He wafted them around in front of the nose, and then he put a little bit underneath the nose. So I do hope that Ríos isn't feeling unwell. Well, he obviously is, but that it isn't too serious.
Yes, it's a difficult one really to try and sum up, because I mean, we've all been in tense situations, whether it's on a tennis court or elsewhere, and difficulty breathing, almost a suggestion of high tension.
There's a couple of times Goran Ivanisevic has suffered from that, hasn't he? But he's a very different sort of character from Marcelo Ríos.
Well, they say left-handers, you know, tend to be geniuses, a lot more of them, and perhaps they are more highly strung. Costa certainly winning a succession of easy service games. In the first set, he actually lost more points on his serve than Ríos did.
Second ace from Costa, and he leads 3-1. It's the only round of 16 match between two seeds. Only 6 seeds remain. Ríos and 5 Spaniards. And the other 4 Spaniards, incidentally, in case you're wondering, Berasategi, Carecha, Mantilla and Moya.
15-0.
Ríos, having played the shot, just looking back at the court, you can see he almost fell over.
That's the one thing he's not done well today, is drop shot.
30-0.
Fifth ace from Ríos. First love service game of the match. 3-2.
It's good of Ríos. Quick to decide, but Costa's not too sure. As honest as Ríos is, he feels he might just have got a bit of line. But Ríos was trying to do it all quickly and move back to position so as not to keep Costa waiting before his second serve. Little worrying because Costas seems to be striking the serve a bit more solidly. The ground stroke's obviously the man of confidence. So Ríos might just have to change tactic a little bit, might have to do a bit more approaching.
Oh, play a few shots like that. That'll do.
I must admit, this is a bit of lightning, really, which comes from a reasonably clear sky.
Yes, it's the best part of the day, weather-wise, without a doubt. It was pretty grey this morning. Now the clouds are much more scattered.
Well, one of the best backhands down the line played for Costa, by Costa, and that's even more ominous, and I think very wise to let this one bounce.
Costa, balle neuve, new balls.
Not a seat to be had for this one.
Costa this year against left-handers is only the one win against Arazi. Lost to Michael Tebbett the first match of the year, Thomas Muster in Estoril, and Peter Corder in Monte Carlo.
You would have thought with his backhand he would actually do rather well against left-handers.
Yes, I think he does by and large.
30-0.
Had a good view of the backhand there on that last shot of his, because the preparation was so good, steadying the racket with the left hand as he whipped it back quickly with the right.
What on earth was that? I mean, I just don't know what he was thinking about.
Yeah, he was certainly trying a drop volley, but from that height, it was a very, very difficult shot. The slip only happened afterwards.
This is not the Ríos that we've come to admire so much this year. Rather snatching at that one. Saw the big gap was scored. Costa says, don't bother, even to look, that's a clean ace.
Great sportsmanship, really. It's been a feature of the clay court season.
Ríos staying in touch in this second set. Still Costa has the advantage and leads by 4-3 with a break of serve. Costa at 76%. Almost matching Ríos for winners, but far less extravagant with the losers. 4-3 he leads in serving. Just quickly update you on Suzanne Longdon court. A few minutes ago, Serena Williams was serving for the match against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, up a set 5-3, but now it's 5-all, and Monica Seles is going well against Chanda Rubin, 6-1 and 2-1 to Seles. Another terrific point.
Well, there's an example really of the revitalized, the almost newly armed Costa. Such power with that forehand down the line. Ríos must have felt that he had a bit of an opening, a bit of a hope to get to love 30, and yet smack bang. Couple of very, very important games, I feel. And Costa just missing the first serve, just weakening a little.
Rios says he's found the mark. It's yet another drop shot that's gone wrong from Costa.
15-40.
Yes, and that was almost the worst time to play it. Some of the others he's played have not been at bad times, given the context of the point.
2 break-back points for Rios. And he seizes the first. And the match is right back in the balance for all.
Brilliant piece of anticipation by Rios, just standing his ground with Costa really able to hit the ball either side, just waited for him. And once Costa tried to what he thought was wrong-footing Rios, Rios was in the driving seat.
Tout petit peu de silence, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Good view from that overhead camera of the foot movement as Rios as he is about to serve. He was actually foot faulted in the first set.
Don't believe it.
He's determined to make one, isn't he? In the process, he's handing it to Rios on a plate.
Chino, the nickname for Marcelo Ríos back in Chile, not one he particularly enjoys.
S'il vous plaît. Ríos.
7th ace. 3 successive games for Marcelo Ríos. And he's ahead now in the second set. 5-4. In the second set. And suddenly Costa's looking very edgy and very tentative.
What he really needs is his serve to do some work for him. Putting a lot of effort into it, but getting no reward at the moment.
Arantxa Sanchez Vicario has come from a set and 5-3 down to win the second set against Serena Williams, 7-5, 1 set all.
Well, there the serve did work, but once again Rios just standing his ground, anticipating that cross-court forehand so well.
35.
Costa having to bring off a pretty good volley. Rios scampering madly for it.
And he pulled out of that backhand down the line, Costa. Normally he would have gone for the winner. Now Bill Norris is back again. He's trying to get some idea from Bruno Robert what's going on.
Well, he's playing pretty well for a man who's finding it difficult to breathe.
Nope. And it's set point.
30-40.
Of course, very often Costa with a terrific kicking serve would come in against opponents, but very difficult to do it against the left-hander with a kick out wide.
Oh, it's a brilliant shot from Rios.
Deuxième manche.
And it's 1-all.
6-4.
But I have to say that I think Costa really let him off the hook there.
Yes, I agree. He seemed to have Rios really, which not too many people have done this year. And then suddenly lost his way. Missed a few too many missed first serves. That 76% first serve percentage would have dropped a bit. And then a few hoiks on the backhand, and that stupid drop shot.
Too good.
Oh, this is a stunning shot by Rios, because he's made up his mind in that split second as he approached the ball where exactly he was going to hit it, and just no two ways about it, went for it. Well, they've just got it a little wrong, not surprising, but one would assume he was Alberto. He was for a long time. Now he's Albert. Albert's in danger of being run off his legs by this man now.
Lovely shots of how he hardly ever brought the heel down, always on his toes.
Premier jeu, troisième manche.
The momentum for Rios grows. 5 games in a row, but Bill Norris is on for him once again. Except there was a very big difference between the unforced errors, and now it has really reduced down. This is a very big game for Costa. He's lost 5 in a row. Again, the treatment, incidentally, was more smelling salts, or their equivalent. No injury timeout, just during the 90-second change of ends.
Well, maybe it's a bit of chili saltpeter or something that they put on there, a little bit of nitrates. He's certainly growing as Costa falls away. That's where Rios becomes a huge threat for Costa, is his ability to take such an early ball, a lot earlier than Costa. He can peg you back and keep you down a lot more efficiently than most.
Costa's getting decidedly ragged. 2 points for a 6th successive game.
Rios had 2 rackets sent off at the change of ends. Had to do a lot because he was being administered the salt stuff rubbed on his moustache just under his nose at the same time as getting 2 rackets off and the strings. They almost forgot those.
He's finally made a drop shot. I tell you, if he'd missed that one, his racket might have landed in Barcelona.
Yes, this could be for Costa.
Well, he's becoming the man they love to hate, Rios.
Yes, it's just a matter of really wanting to get involved a little bit more. Well, I'm sure she's not. Decorum personified.
That's an incredible drop shot from Rios.
Yes, he played it with the ball so high and so far back that he really struck it just about as perfectly as he can. And an interesting shot by Costa, assuming that Rios was close in and feeling that the only way he could win it was by lobbing. And I think he was just about right.
two of them remind me of sort of hubble, bubble, tar and trouble, the way they're muttering at the moment.
Égalité. Avantage Costa. Costa.
Simply huge that for Costa to have held there from 15-40. Sense that the match was starting to run away from him.
Yes, it's a bit more like the first set now, because Costa really struggled. As I said, he lost more points, although winning the set, than did Ríos. Came from 15-40 to hold his opening game there too.
Oh. More, please, gentlemen. That'll do nicely.
Yes, I think a bit of money is deserved for this play. It's been Ríos has been doing that sort of stuff, but finally, and I think that was a turning point, that drop shot in the last game, Costa bringing off the miraculous and converting. It'll be interesting to see if Costa can just redevelop the aggression which we saw really towards the end of the first set, early in the second. Because it seems to me he's lost the muscle. Okay, he brought off that terrific shot, but it was really a last resort, and it is Ríos now very much the dictator.
One set all, one game all, 30 all.
Time to pull up the socks. Of course, that's very often what clay court tennis is about. You can have a man who's doing a lot of dictating and taking the ball early and moving you, but if you get enough balls back, he may just miss in the end. Looks like a mushroom top Kornikova who's come out into the players' balcony to watch.
Good call. Well, Todd Martin's out there as well. As Rios holds and moves 2-1 in front.
Back live to the French Open with Café de Colombia.
Costa serving 1-2. Third set, 1-all.
Both setting very, very high standards for themselves because they've been playing so well in not only in this event but in tournaments leading up to it. The set lost here by Costa, the first he's lost in this tournament. He's had a pretty comfortable passage.
Drew McMillan is looking very pleased with life, not just because of the quality of the match we're looking, but his queen has won. Monica Seles, the queen of the double-handers. 6-1, 6-4, she's beaten Chanda Rubin, so she awaits either Yana Novotná or Anna Kournikova in the quarterfinals. Just a third ace from Costa.
40-0.
What a set. And the first love service game for Albert Costa.
Yeah, some rather dark-looking clouds, but Costa's brow, I think, is lightened considerably with that game.
Yeah, sadly they're rolling in from the west. I think we've seen the last of the sun. I just hope there's no rain coming with them. They're dark, but they're high. But yesterday it really was remarkable. When I left here just after we'd come off the air to walk to a restaurant to meet some friends, I left in sunshine. By the time I got there, it was just starting to pour. Fortunately, I just made it.
Yes, I always find Paris about the most dangerous place there is for that. I've so often been caught in massive storms. And like you, fortunately, I had an umbrella with me, but still got soused.
Now, this is how you hit a backhand down the line, Albert.
Yes, it did seem like that, didn't it? A competition, almost a practice competition of who could play the most accurately.
Our good friends, back-to-back service games to love. And Rios leads by 3 games to 2 on serve in the third. About the how many times you're allowed to have the trainer on court for the same conditions, so maybe he's developed another one.
Well, that's just what I was wondering.
2-3. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario moves up a break in the third set against Serena Williams at 3-2. Williams having led by a set and 5-3.
30-0.
Yeah, the wind beginning to get up. That's well, you don't need me to tell you that. Often prefaces rain arriving. Oh, it'd be such a shame if this match, which is so perfectly poised, had to be stopped.
Seems to me that Costa's just the more predictable of the two. He has the advantage, of course, of one hand on both sides, a taller man, so he's got the extra bit of reach, but his forehand cross-court, Rios reads that well, and he hasn't got the backhand down the line, so Rios can virtually afford to wait for the forehand from that side.
Second double fault from Costa, and it's the first from either man since the first set.
And in the circumstances, that was a poor shot by Rios, because he was neither really going for the angle, was there with plenty of time, perhaps too much time, nor was he going for real pace.
Costa.
Now, 4 points from Rios from 30 all.
3 jeux partout.
Yes, an anguished cry of incredible.
It's a little window you can see with the green and white striped canopy is where our colleagues from radio work. Beavering away at their reports and occasional commentaries.
0-15.
Fourth double from Rios.
A little hurried there. The observant might have just seen the ball boy not moving into position. Of course, he was coming from behind the umpire, so the umpire hadn't spotted him. Just the unexpected here. Costa not knowing that Rios was coming in, therefore thinking he was just chipping it back with Rios down at the baseline. Had he but known.
First serve into the net as you were watching the replay. Not a bad second serve though.
30-15.
Oh, love the way he moved forward after the first volley, cut off all the angles. Here comes Bill Norris again. 4-3 Rios in the third. Ah, it is the leg. Beats Jens Knipschild 6-3, 7-5, 3-6 and 6-4. And in the rain delayed match from last night, Alex Corretja beats Ernan Gummi 6-1, 5-7, 6-7, 7-5, 9-7. Back comes Costa, and that was in 5.5 hours. On the women's side, Martina Hingis beats Anna Smashnova 6-1, 6-2. Venus Williams beats Henrietta Nagyova 6-1, 6-3. Monica Seles beats Chanda Rubin 6-1, 6-4. Patty Schneider beats Maui Serna 6-1, 6-3. Lindsay Davenport beats Sandrine Testude, 6-3, 4-6, 6-2. Those are all the results so far today. My word, people putting blankets around them out there. I don't think it's quite that cold, but it's not very nice overhead. We're keeping our fingers firmly crossed, or maybe Marcelo Ríos isn't. Maybe he's saying rain would do very nicely now. Just let me win this third set, and then it can chuck it down. I'll get treatment, come out tomorrow, 2-1 up.
Petit peu de silence, merci.
3-4.
Well, almost the best rally that Costa has played for some time.
15-0.
And it was very much aided by a fine backhand down the line.
Oh yes, right inside the line.
15.
Of course, the whole problem of telling yourself if you're Costa that Ríos is under the weather is that he's coming up with shots like that, even though he's had smelling salts, he's had cream applied to his strained thigh. He's not running like the wounded. Had the sound of a line, but the umpire's in no doubt, and nor is Ríos.
Bruno Ribeau's coming down. Yep, out is the decision, and it's 2 break points. The fact that Bruno has put a jacket on over his blazer indicates that it's pretty nippy out there. Oh! Ríos launches himself, and he'll serve for 2-1.
Ríos.
Puts the Chileans in good heart, and we can't blame them. That was such positive play by the Chilean.
Well, Costa keeps just missing, I'm afraid. Well, Bruno Ribeau willing to come down, but Costa accepts what Ríos has pointed out.
15-0.
Yes, he's the genuine oracle when it comes to honor on the court, Ríos.
And he's getting really pumped up now, is Marcelo. And so are they.
30-0. Merci pour la balle. Merci.
Yeah, you can't keep that ball, you know. It's not ice hockey.
Merci.
And the umpire's getting it.
Ooh.
A bit easier for him to see the funny side than for the players, perhaps.
Three set points for Ríos.
40-0.
Ríos wraps up the set in style. It was so important now for Costa to start this fourth set well, to send the message that, all right, you're ahead, but you ain't won yet.
Yes, particularly if he's aware, which he obviously is, that there is just a slight injury with Ríos. He wants to try and keep him out there as long as he possibly can. Should help him to keep his head up.
We've just reached the 2-hour mark for the match.
And that two-hander really seemed to hurry away in the wind.
And that's good play from Costa, because we saw one shot earlier on stop, so he played the drop shot into the wind, and that stopped as well too. Starting to rain. It's raining, but we're still playing. And it's love 15. Ríos attempting a drop shot into the wind, just got it a little short into the net. It's not yet the downpour of yesterday. It's, some people have put their umbrellas up. The hardier souls are sticking it out. Fifth double. Doesn't want to lose his concentration here and mean that if they do stop, Costa will be up a break. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario has beaten the rain and beaten Serena Williams 6-3 in the final set. Great effort by the two-times champion.
Well, that's a terrific point, because Costa really kept that slice low. Ríos had to engineer something here. That's just about all he could do, other than perhaps pushing it down the line, but that would have meant he was in a vulnerable position for the lob.
he's refound his muscles.
Yes, there's, wasn't quite Rosewell's backhand down the line, but it was certainly reminiscent of Hamburg. It was a forehand, of course.
And Costa breaks. And once more, fortunes swing around.
Well, it seemed to come from nowhere, really, that drop shot by Rios and then the double fault, and now the racket being thrown, but the crowd are just looking for something to get into. He only lost 5 points in his serve in the second set. In the third set, I beg your pardon.
Well, the rain, if anything, I think has eased a fraction. More umbrellas have gone down than up. Wonderful point from Rios, but again Costa really had the chance to put him away.
As the drop shot just drifting somewhat towards Rios, played with the wind. That's always dangerous, and although it was a pretty good one, such a big point, Rios was going to give it his all. Again, no signs of any strained thighs there.
S'il vous plaît, merci.
Takes the ball early, uses the angle, 3 break-back points.
0-40.
A break of serve to love, and just when you thought Costa had got himself right back into it, he loses his serve. It's 2-1 in the fourth. And Rios by 2 sets to 1. Rios to open the fourth game of this fourth set. Well, that was probably his best backhand down the line of the match to set up the point. Here we are. Those are all the commentary booths.
Interesting where that lob eventually dropped. It landed well inside the service block. And because it landed inside the service block, Costa knew what sort of weight to put on the next lob he tried. Engaged it beautifully.
Just this fine drizzle in the air, but look behind us to the southwest, which is where the weather is coming from. It's now beginning to lighten, so with a bit of luck, we may not get an interruption. Don't want an interruption. This one's bubbling along very nicely.
30.
Rios does his usual bit of genuflecting. That's quite common even early in a match.
Oh, he's missed it. Break point for a third successive break.
Terrific defending by Costa. It was Rios always up and at him. Good look at it, but you feel he should have known it was out. Ominous weight now behind the rear shots.
Avantage Ríos.
Costa, I don't think, could afford to wait on his side of the court. He needs to just be taking a slightly earlier ball, which he can on the backhand particularly.
Well, framed the volley, but it worked.
Is that a sign from Rios that he wanted a bit more treatment?
He certainly went up to umpire Robert and chatted to him. He's rather drowned out by Albert Costa chatting to himself. Well, sadly now the rain really is beginning to fall. Lots of umbrellas going up now. And there you can see the players are just undecided.
S'il vous plaît, un petit peu de silence. Le jeu continue. S'il vous plaît.
Bruno Reberck is looking in the direction of the supervisor and referee. Should we play? It's getting heavier and heavier. And now it's Costa, who mustn't lose his concentration, because the last thing he wants to do is come out 2-1 down and a breakdown. He's got to focus on every single point. Forget the weather. If we're playing, we're playing. Better. More pace.
15-30.
Well, it's one of the few times that kick serve of Costa's, which is so effective, has wrought much, really getting Rios, catching Rios by surprise. Well, I thought he'd waited initially in the rally, but then getting stuck into a few early forehands. He needs to do that to keep Rios at bay.
No. Take that, sir. First serve, so what?
40.
I cannot understand this fatal fascination for drop shots of Costa. Cost him time and time again in this match.
Yes, it's out of character, really. It's terrific to have it, of course, in your arsenal, but if they're ineffective, you want to drop them.
Break point. Ríos has won 3 successive games. 2 of them breaks a serve. And he's up a break now in the 4th set. Bill Norris is coming back out yet again. And 2 sets to 1 ahead, and he's serving with new balls. There's not much of a way to use new balls. 6 double faults. Yes, wonderful defense and the counter-attack decisive.
Yes, beautiful summing up and reading of the point by Costa.
0-30.
This was the most effective shot because it kept him in the point. Once he got here, he had so many options. But again, it's sound defense. Yet again, Ríos doing the attacking.
3 break-back points to make it 4 breaks of serve in 6 games in this set.
S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît.
He's missed it. Or has he?
Yeah, Costa's looked at it and nodded and looked to the ball boy for the ball. He's going to serve.
Oh! Well.
Whoops, don't touch him. He might blow a gasket here.
That, I'm afraid, does not answer it. What we should have is one of our line cams. That would. And we'd know. Oh, no, there's no point in booing Ríos. It's not his fault. 15-40, second serve. Now, this is a huge point for Costa.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, because if he loses this, even though it's a big event, he may just throw in the towel mentally after that bit of embarrassment. Still just looking at the mark. That goes back a bit, but he's looked at the mark and thrashed his racket at it and looked at the umpire again.
That's got rid of all those frustrations. The rain is heavier again, but it's not heavy enough to make a decision easy. You can see it on the replays.
It's the main concern really is the restlessness in the crowd that it induces. The court can absorb this sort of moisture.
Fourth break point. Too good, and Costa does break. And it's 3-all in the fourth, and no one's going away despite the rain.
I must say I'm pretty relieved, because it would have been a shame really if it had faded away this match, and in a way you've almost, at least I feel, I've always got to side with Costa there. It may well have got a bit of the line, but took a lot out of him.
All credit to him, having lost the love 40 situation to then still break. That took some real guts.
15.
He hasn't missed many of those, Rios. That's his best shot, and it really has been pretty venomous, as we saw on the previous point. Now he's got to watch out for the wide serve to the Rios two-handed backhand. He's been stepping in, as we've seen.
Rios has break point to move ahead again.
Well, one almost talks about Sampras as having the best forehand in the game. Rios recently showing that his more than matches the Americans.
Well, at last Costa found the backhand down the line, and didn't he need it, because he was pummeling away at the forehand and it was coming back with interest.
Yes, it was almost a shot of last resort, and Costa himself exclaiming as he had played it. In his desire to get away from that backhand.
Third double fault only, but what a crucial one.
S'il vous plaît. Merci.
No sign at all of limpness in Rios's movement.
Avantage Costa.
How do they know where to smash? Of course, what they're doing is that right out of the corner of the eye, watching the opposition.
It's brave defense, but it's not enough. Third break point.
Avantage Rios.
Yes, Rios taking the risks, hammering away, taking the ball a little earlier, much more prepared to come up, playing just the better all-round game.
He's missed it. Once again, the drop shot put him into trouble. And once again, Rios is ahead. 4-3 in the fourth. 5 breaks of serve in this set. And 7 games. Rios is 2 games away from victory. They've started between Conchita Martinez and Eva Maioli, 2-all. Bruno Ribeur is wiping his brow. He's probably thinking, it was never like this when I started at the junior club down the road. Seventh double fault.
Well, it was a terrific return, snapped wrist return by Costa. Not a lot really that Rios could do with it. Nice balance as he pushed it down the line.
15-30.
Now the surprise serve volleying tactic has been used.
The big serve down the middle will do the job. Of 30-30 all. Not a good time to have your laces come undone.
No, and he waited for that ball to come to him too, really. He needed to be in there, taking it earlier. It was uncomfortably high.
Oh, that's wild from Costa. And Ríos moves to within 1 game of victory.
Ríos mène par 5 jeux à 3. S'il vous plaît, les joueurs sont prêts.
The Chilean fans beginning to celebrate. 3-5.
Deuxième.
Well, Costa's in the happiest position he's been in for some time when he served. He lost the last 3.
But really, ever since the start of the second set, he's allowed Ríos to dominate. He's allowed Ríos to be the aggressor. And that's been his biggest problem. Wonderful touch.
Merci.
Match point for Ríos. Well, the backhand down the line wasn't there today, and that was one of the reasons Costa lost. But the real reason, perhaps the decisive reason, was that Ríos was the aggressor, and Ríos takes a huge step towards reclaiming the world #1 spot. He needs to win just 1 more match now, but perhaps more significantly and more importantly, towards winning a first Grand Slam title. He wins in 4 sets.
Yes, and I think Ríos will recover. It seemed to me that there were strains there, all right, but I don't think they're ones that are going to hold him back in this event. Costa really lost his opportunity. A set and a break-up, remember, and it seemed to me that he had Ríos as very few people have been able to do for some time, but just relinquished his grip. And the determination, really, that Ríos, a former #1, seems to have gained, not only determination, but also